This is a reflection on what discipline meant when it was survival and what it means now that I'm learning peace. There's a cost with being a strong one. And if you relate to that saying, there's a cost to being a strong one. But there's definitely a cost to being a strong one. I've had to play different roles in my family and relationships for a long time. For those of you that know, I was a caregiver to my mom and grandmother for many years, for at least a decade plus. We're talking doctor's appointments, giving medication, giving shots, changing them, bathing them, feeding them. We're talking the real deal. And even though we had home health aides, if something were to go wrong, even though there was other people around, I would always get the call. Your grandmother's having an episode or something up with your mom. So internally, I've been wired to be able to, or I conditioned myself mentally to be able to respond quickly to jump into action. If something's up with my mom, my grandmother, I'm not thinking about it. I'm not thinking about my feelings and stuff like that. I'm just working. I never hesitated to think about how I was feeling or what I had going on. No, you need to help. Essentially, that's most of the time people call me, we need some help or something's happened. We can't make a decision. So, what decision can you make or how can you help? And when you have people who suffer from illnesses or the elderly, you don't have the luxury of time to sit back and reflect and think about. You're immediately in action. So, I've had to function from that space for years. And some of the ways that I would like, one of the ways that I always condition myself is after I take a regular warm shower, I always turn the shower on extremely cold so I could feel what it feels like for my body to get a sudden shock within seconds. And I've done that, and it was my way of conditioning myself. At any moment, you have to jump into this character or this role, and within seconds, you can adjust. And once you adjust, now you go into action. I still do it to this day, even though my mother and grandmother have transitioned, but I still function from that space because I've done it for so many years. It's not something that I can just turn off. But you're gonna drive some people crazy when I say it's neither good nor bad. I think it serves its purpose where it needs to serve its purpose. You know what I'm saying? And I would condition myself doing those things every day. I did it every day until it became a habit. And once it became a habit, it became a discipline. And it was one of the many ways that my discipline became my survival. It was sort of like, if I don't jump into action and care for the people who've cared for me, then there's a potential that something can go left or something can go wrong. And it's like, God forbid, I don't want that to happen, not on my watch. I wanted to always feel like I've given my love the best that I could do it, or I created structure which felt like safety to know that I could be dependent on. And being dependent on was being able to adjust in second, make these critical decisions and stuff like that. But I can't say I can't. It's a challenge for me just to turn that discipline off because it just shows up in other areas in life. So it's still back to the example of the shower. I still do the cold shower to this day. And it's not like, do I really need to have that mindset? No, but I know that being prepared like that mentally saved me or helped others for a long time. So it's sort of a tool that I continue to use in order to stay ready so I ain't got to get ready. And there was also when I used those disciplines to jump into action, I would keep things in order. And if, as long as things were in order, certain things would go smooth. And it's sort of, I've always wanted everything around me to run smoothly and not give it much thought because I wanted to always save my energy for those moments when I needed to jump into action, right? And it became a survival trait. It's sort of like if you on the block and you see something in the distance, you already sizing it up before you get up on it. You're not waiting until you right up on it because if you wait till you right there, you can get got. Now, I'm fortunate not to be in those environments all the time, but when I get on the train, which is very rare, shout out to everybody that ride the train, but my body gets tense. And I think all of us as New Yorkers, you feel alert like that when you're in train. Damn, somebody gonna set it off. What's gonna go on? Do I need to be ready? Do I need to have my hand in my bag, my pocket, whatever? But that's just the reality of the space that I've lived in. Again, my discipline of being able to jump into action. What am I going to do if somebody acts out of character and I'm in this environment? What can I do to get to safety. So my discipline again is it's my form of safety. And my safety falls into my peace, right? And it's like I just want to be peaceful, man. Of all the years that I've been through so much, and I really just like quiet, man. And sometimes people will see me and I'm not really saying much, or I don't even talk this much anymore like I used to. But it's because silence has become my peace. I don't need constant engagement for me to feel like I'm part of something. I'm totally cool with just, shout out to all my introverts, right? I'm totally cool with just staying to myself and staying with my thoughts and still thinking about things from every angle to anticipate all outcomes. That's not just to say what the worst outcome could be, but what is every outcome so that I could understand how I may be responding to that particular situation. So, more than that, I'm just relearning what love and peace is because for so many years I didn't live in peace. I lived in fireman mode. I was a fireman, waiting for something to go wrong, jump into action. My love was to protect those that I care for and to provide whatever way that I could. And now I'm in a space where my fiance, she doesn't really need me to show up like that, but it's a little challenging because that's in my core of how I've lived for so many years. And then prior to being a caregiver, just growing up in the hood, my mother instilled these, I wouldn't say values, but she always wanted me to be able to stand up for myself and defend myself. So she would push me to fight. She pushed me to be a man of my word. She would push me to how to present myself when I'm in front of people. All of those little things, they still show up now. Even as small as getting on camera, how some people get on camera and they be in bonnets or laying in their bed. No, that's just not me. That's not the way my mom's instilled in me. And I don't know if it's because we ain't have much or she didn't want anybody to look at me and my sister. Oh, look at your kids, you're not caring for them. But she's like, if you're going to show up, you're going to always put your best foot forward. So I think that I have to realize that I'm not in certain spaces anymore and that I am a man of who I am now, and I can let down my guard a little bit when I'm in the presence of those that care for me and really just enjoy life, man. And that's what this whole thing is about. It's like moving forward, just living in peace, being around the people that I love and doing the things that I love. I love making hip hop music. So I appreciate you guys tapping in with me. And for those of you who have been along for the journey, it's been a long journey. And for those of you who are new, welcome. Yeah, that's how we do.